welcome. So in this video, I've been thinking about it for a while. So in this video, I'm gonna actually discuss on how to deal with Cetrion. Now, this matchup against Jax, it's a very weird one, to be honest. Some people will probably say this is a 7-3 matchup, but if you play the cards right, it's actually 6-4. It's still in her favor, but if played smartly, it's actually a really not too much of a bad matchup. Now, of course, we gotta talk about this character. So let's discuss it. So obviously we know Cetrion already. His character, a zoner, and Jax. One thing that Jax does not like is dealing with zoners. So when you see her doing this, you know, like you see the boulder getting hit, like plus 24, or she's doing this, or Hellraiser, you know, it's a very hard thing to approach because, you know, Jax struggles a lot against zoning, and he has to find those key openings to get in as quickly as he can and push her to the corner, because Cetrion doesn't really have good defensive options once she gets knocked down. Not including the wake up roll and stuff, but she really doesn't. So your goal is to try to figure out to get in. Now, one of the key things I'm going to talk about, we're going to switch back to Jax real quick, and I'm gonna set it up where the AI, we're gonna set up where we're gonna have the position where we're center, but the distance is gonna be full screen instead. So now we're full screen. So we're gonna have Cetrion just throw boulders out. We'll just keep doing this. It's just a quick example, because there's other tools that she's going to do, and I'll discuss those tools later. But the point is, when I'm talking about what you have to do. So, of course, you're dealing, like, with this, or this. Well, that was an accident. What you want to do is just walk forward and block. This is literally one of a few things you want to do, because even though you're getting pushed back, you're walking in slowly. This is the whole point. Like, just walk in slowly and walk in slowly. Be patient, do not overextend, and just walk forward. Like, even if she's plus on block, because the thing is, the farther she goes, the farther the boulder is, the more plus she is. So even if she's plus on block, just walk forward and block. I recommend you block low also, because then I'll show you why. So obviously that's the most key thing. This is the most key thing you can do, especially against characters that are known to be zoners, like Shane, for example. Just walk and block. Walk and block. Because you're the rush down character. You have to chase her down. Because they're going to be backdashing, because her backdash is really good. It's one of the best in the game. She's going to backdash, and then throw out Hellraiser, or she's going to throw out a boulder, or even worse, she's going to throw out this move, which is this. Now, the ground pound, it's a low, and it's unsafe on block. But the thing is, what she can do is that. So she could cancel out of the ground pound. When she cancels out of the ground pound, it leaves her -4 on block. So she's safe. And it's basically like a stagger. Like Jax's 4-3-3, it's -4 on block. That's a stagger, and it leaves her safe. But the reason why Cetrion players will probably go for this a lot is mostly because, and I'm gonna is that second part of the ground pound you can jump over. It's the same thing as when you're dealing with playing against Jax. You know, when he does his ground pound, the second part, when it's amplified, you could just short hop, or you could jump over it. I messed up. Short hop, jump, Jump. Jump. So you could jump over that. But that's why they have that. See? Because since it's a way to cancel out of it, to catch people to see if they're going to jump. Or if they're going to do it in a block string, it leaves them safe on block. So there's that. Now, I want to go back to the boulders real quick. So when you're walking against, when you're dealing with against boulders and you're walking forward, you have the tool to deal with that. Because the thing about boulder is that the boulder itself, let's check real quick. The boulder, which is down back 2, I believe. Yes, bouncing boulder. It's 48 frames of startup. It's a pretty damn slow boulder. Even though it leaves her plus on block the farther it is, it's a really slow boulder. So if you notice that, and this is what I want to do, if you're a Jax me, always pay attention to your opponent's habits. Pay attention, because your goal as a Jax player is figure out what they're doing, and once you figure out their game plan, it's a wrap, because that's where Jax truly shines. You figure out their game plan and you just demolish them for that. So in this case, so when she's throwing out boulders, like, oh, messed it up right there. Boulders like this, you know, it's just mad. I'm just throwing spamming out boulders just to the point. But the point is, oh, you just saw that? You saw that? Let's do it again. Oh. You notice how Thumper is beating the boulder, right? Just because she is plus on block, it does not mean that she could just constantly spam out the boulder. Thumper is actually a really useful tool in this matchup. But, like I said, you have to pay attention to her habits. It's more of paying attention to what they're doing. If you know that they're definitely going to throw out a boulder, then throw out your Thumper. Because your Thumper is 28 frames of startup. And since it's 28 frames of startup, it's going to be faster than the boulder, especially at far range. So if you know that they're going to throw out a boulder, then you just throw out a Thumper and then punish them for it. It's not going to give you a hard knockdown, but it gives you a knockdown which allows you to get a small, like, one wave dash, maybe two. But like I said, your whole point in this match is when you're chasing down your opponent, you walk. You do not want to wave dash in, because you're dealing with a lot of projectiles. You're dealing with things like Hellraiser. You're dealing with things like Rockwall, which we're going to discuss very soon. You're dealing with things like ground Earthquake, which is what her ground pound move is, and Boulder. You don't want to wave dash in. Your goal is to just walk forward and block. That is, I'm going to keep saying this constantly to drill this in your head. Like, because walking is such an underrated thing. I don't think a lot of people understand, especially when you're playing fighting games. Like, if you just walk forward, you're gonna push them to the corner. Like, you don't even have to dash in to push them to the corner. You could just walk them down, and by the time they realize they're in the corner, like, oh shit, there's nothing much I can do now, because guess what? You ran out of space now, and once you're running out of space, I'm gonna apply a lot of pressure to you now, especially with a character that has a lot of good buttons and mix-ups. So keep that in mind. So now that we established that we're gonna establish the next thing. So like we already talked about boulder. We talked about how that when it's a read, but so that's why you gotta pay attention to your opponent's hat. We discussed already. If you're confident and you know that your opponent is gonna throw out the boulder, the Cetrion player, you do a dumper to counter it. Number 2, ground pound. See, the ground pound could be punishable, obviously on block, but you could jump over the second part of ground pound if they do it mid-screen or for a screen. But keep in mind that they can spend their defensive bar and cancel out of it and just do a move right after, like backdash into Hellraiser or something to catch you. So, things like that. So be careful, because they can cancel it to be safe. And one more thing also. Since it's -4, the ground pound, I didn't do it right. But since I gotta hold up twice. So you see right there is -4. So I messed it up right there. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is like that basically when she does a ground pound, she's -4 on block. Sometimes they will try to backdash or they'll try to do down 4. So what you want to do is so like that, because like remember, she's -4 after that. So every time she does that, either it's pressing buttons after it, you challenge her. Either it's a poke or a string. Don't be afraid to challenge her. Because if you don't challenge her in that string, you're letting her get in that after she spends bar to be safe. You're letting her get away with murder. Like challenge her with a poke, or if you have a mid string that's fast, challenge her with a mid string. Don't be afraid to press a button. So now that we talked about that, let's talk about the round start. So when you start the round first, obviously there's like a lot of different options she could do. She could just jump back, she could do Hellraiser, or she could backdash. But I think the most scariest thing, and I recommend I feel like you should always block at the beginning, because immediately from the round start, this is what you can do. And I think you guys know what I'm thinking of right now. Bam. Far rock wall. This is the most annoying move, in my opinion, in the game. Why? Because look at the range on that. It has really good range. It's a good tool to catch people approaching you. It's like a get off me, keep my space. It's a good tool to catch them from jumping. And on top of that, look what happens when she does that. It costs a lot of pushback, and also it leaves her plus. Now, this is why I think it's best to just block in the first round, because she can just do rock wall immediately at this range. And depending on your character, in this case, since we're talking about Jax can't really punish the far rock wall, because the far rock wall will leave her safe on block if you amplify it. It won't leave her minus. Well, depending on when she does it, it might leave her neutral or negative, but not negative enough to where you can punish her. So this is a very key problem right here. So in this case, I recommend just to block and pay attention to see what they do. Like I said, Jax is a character that relies on you knowing what your opponent is going to do, their habits, and punishing them for it. So I know this is like a generic thing, it's like that with every fighting game, but he gets rewarded for it for a lot for doing that to the opponent. So Far Rock Wall is very scary. Another thing I want to point out is that Rock Wall in general, when you meter burn it, there is a gap in between as well. So what I'm saying is, when she meter burns the Rock Wall, you can flawless block the second part of the Rock Wall. So you see right there, I'm walking forward. Of course, I have to get range of it. So at that range, you can see that when she does the Far Rock Wall, you could punish her for it. It's leaving her negative 14. So in this case, bam. But it depends how they space it. But if they do the Far Rock Wall and you're at the right range to punish it, back forward 2 is your best friend. This includes also too if she does it, for example, up close. So let's say she does do that, or we just do forward 2 instead. So like right there, I did the close version. You could punish it up close. Like back forward 2 is 11 frame startup. Since if you flawless block the second part of Rock Wall, you can punish her with back forward 2. Now keep in mind, if the Cetrion player knows that you're going to do that, they can try to do this instead and not do anything. But you can punish that. You could just do that, but or you can do that. Because look at the range. You're -20 after that. And now you just punish her for that. You can also dash in, micro dash into forward 3-3 as well, but I tried it multiple times. It's kind of hard. Let's try it again. Got it, micro dash. Here we go. But my point is that you could punish her for that. And same thing goes for when she tries to meter burn the Rock Wall. You could flawless block that and punish her with back forward 2. But if she does it up close also, like bam, like that. Oh look, punch. You're close to the corner now. So there you go. So rock wall is probably the most annoying thing as well. So this is another thing I want to tell you as well in this matchup that I should have said at the beginning. Don't jump. Do not jump, because the reason, I mean, you could jump against the boulders sometime, because like jumping against the bouncing boulder is a little bit easy, but if they know that you're gonna jump, they can do this, and this is based off of reads. That now, if you get hit by that boulder, it will send you full screen. And on top of that, if they want to do it and waste it, they could do a crushing blow after that boulder, send you full screen, and now you're back to being not only full screen, but now you have to walk her down again, and she would just throw out this, she could throw out this, she could throw out this. It's back to walking through the maze all over again, basically. So don't jump too much. Don't be too predictable with your jumping. Just walk forward and walk forward. Walking is your best friend in this matchup. It's your best friend against any type of zoner character that is like a true zoner in the game or can zone you out. So don't be afraid to just walk her down. So now let's go to the cream of the crop of this. Let's go talk about her tornado. Now, tornado, if you remember her tornado, this is part of her variation 3. Now, when she does the tornado, I think I'm still at Cetrion. Yes, I'm still at Cetrion. This tornado, it's a mid, comes out very quickly. Now, I want to point out a few things about dealing with this tornado. Number one, block strings. Now, as you can see, look at the pushback. It pushes you back. She's safe on block. And on top of that, if someone resets the neutral, where she could just do rock wall and meter burn it if she catches you from trying to dash in. So, it's a very annoying tool. They kind of nerfed it a bit in this patch now, where now it doesn't do a lot of chip damage, which helps a lot. But it's still a tool that you have to be careful of dealing with. She can even amplify it, where not only does it leave her more plus on block, it gives her more hit advantage, and it hit. I'm going to do it full screen just so you can see. You see how it goes like the whole screen vertically? And look at the regular version. The regular version doesn't. So it could catch people if they try to jump, which is why I'm saying that, and it goes full screen, which is why I'm saying you should just walk forward and block, because this walking forward is going to be your best friend in this matchup. But let's get back to the point. Block screens. There are a few block screens where it actually is a true block screen with tornado, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know how to deal with the gaps of the tornado, because she does have gaps in her strings and normals. So I'm going to talk about her true block strings with the tornado. So you see right here, what we're going to do is that we're going to have Jax block, but we're going to have him do flawless block. Now you see right here, I hate this thing, but basically what I'm trying to show you is that, so you see how I just did her 4, 2, 3, 4. You see how he flawless blocked the last hit? There's a gap in there. So that's the whole point I want to show you. So there, he flawless blocks my first hit. But let's go for the full string. No flawless block here. It's a true block string. And look at the frame advantage. It leaves her -3. It's really good. Because then, like, certain that she could just literally just do this to catch you. Or she could just backdash away. Because her backdash is really, really good. Another one is this. That true block string. Resets the neutral. She could do this to catch you if you try to walk forward. those two buttons, you cannot press buttons, you cannot flawless block it. 4-2 and 1-1 are true block strings. But now let's talk about her not so true block strings. Oh yeah, and 2-1 is also a true block string. 2-1, so she has 3 basically. She has 1-1 tornado, as an input error. 1-1 tornado, 2-1 tornado, and she has the 4-2 tornado. So 3 block strings that she could do with the tornado. But what is the one block string she can do? So you're gonna see a lot of Cetrion players you're not gonna see Cetrion players do down 1. Definitely not down 1 to tornado. It's definitely like, I want to highlight it. So down 1, that's not a true block swing. Back 3 is not a true block swing. Down 3, not a true block swing. Down 4, not a true block swing. Let's move on to here. 4-1-3, I believe is also not a true block swing. Right now. Yep, 4-1-3, not a true block swing. 2-1, we already saw 2-1 is a true block string. 4-2-3, this one, true block string. So these normals right here that are highlighted for Cetrion, these normals are the ones you want to focus on to practice on flawless blocking. But most likely, you're not going to see a Cetrion player go for a down 1 to tornado. That would be very nuts. I don't think you'll ever see Cetrion players do that. What you're going to see them do the most, though, is probably back 3, down 3, sometimes down 3, not all the time. Down 4 a lot, 4-1-3 sometimes, and 4-2-3. So we're gonna, in this case, we'll just use the more noticeable normals because you're definitely not gonna see down 1. But I just wanted to point it out that down 1 is not a true block string. And just to prove my point, actually, let's just switch characters because it'll be easier. Because flawless block does not allow you to commit to any specials. If someone successfully does it, you cannot commit to a special if they flawless block your poke. So in this case, we're gonna do this. And bam. So in this case, you see that right here that I flawless block the down 1 right there. So that is like just showing right there that it's not true block string. But you're not going to see them do that a lot, to be honest. You're going to see them mostly do like things like back 3, sometimes down 3, but you're not going to see them a lot. I never seen Cetrion players go for down 3 to win to the tornado. You're definitely going to see a Cetrion player go for down 4 to tornado though. So in this case, let's have her do like back 3 tornado. I messed up right there. Bam. So the thing about Jax is that the reason why I'm doing up 3 is that Jax's up 2 is 13 frames startup. Due to it being 13 frames, it is a very, very slow up 2, meaning that you won't be able to actually punish Cetrion to go for a launcher because it's very, very slow. So I recommend when you flawless block her tornado, just use up 3 because up 3 is 11 frames. Still slow, but way faster than up 2. So up 3 will be your best friend to punishing a lot of her gaps with tornado. So you see back 3, we're going to do down 4 next. That time I didn't do it at full screen. There we go, that's better. So in this case, let's try this again, because man, I'm having a hard time with this button. I'm trying to show off right here. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Like right there. 2, 3. Perfect. Bam. So that is like the more annoying move as well, because of the fact that it's just like, if I just block it regularly, look at how much pushback she just does after down forward. Look how far you are. She's literally resetting the neutral because of that. You don't want that to happen. So this is why it's important to flawless block her gaps into when she does her tornado. You don't want her to get, you don't want to give her any chance to reset the neutral and put you back. So right here, in this case, practice on flawless blocking that. You can also do it with back 3 as well. Like right there, like back 3. You can also do it with forward 2, 3. Which I'm going to tell you, forward 2, 3 is very negative on block. Since 4-2-3 is very, very negative, it's actually very punishable. It's a punishable string. It's like literally like an unsafe string. Like even if you go cancel to ground earthquake, which I want to show you right now real quick. If she tries to cancel into earthquake right there, trying to show it before because it is probably hard, but yeah, it's very hard. But you can actually, better yet, let's just have Jax do it himself. Look, you can flawless block the earthquake. If you time it perfectly, you can actually flawless block those 3 earthquakes as well, because that's how negative string. Her 4-2-3 is around -10 on block. So it's a very punishable string. You can easily punish it on block if they don't cancel into anything, or if they do cancel it, you can just easily flawless block it. So wow, like you can actually flawless block a lot of her shit. Like, cause like I would see like a lot of people play against Cetrion and they don't flawless block her gaps. They just rather take the chip. And even though the chip is not scary anymore, I recommend you just flawless block it, because you don't want her to reset the neutral. If you let her reset the neutral, that's GG's right there, because now you're allowing her to backdash again, which is, like I said, one of her best backdashes in the game. So she could literally just run away and then go back to throwing out boulders, earthquakes, Hellraisers, and you don't want to be in that situation again. You want to be in her face as a Jax player. So you have to flawless block those gaps. Do not allow her to get away with murder. Punish it for it. So I'll show you one more. And there you go. You can punish it. But now here's the catch. Here is the catch that Cetrion players, if they're smart, that they're noticing, oh, you're flawless blocking. Here's what they're going to do instead. So let's go back to 4-2-3 in that real quick. If they notice that you're flawless blocking her strings, they will do this. That's right. They just were rock walking. Oops. I tried a flawless block. Oh man. I now got hit by rock wall. So it's things like that where they have different options to deal with it. But like I said, pay attention to what they're doing. Always pay attention. Goes to whatever opponent you fight against as a Jax player. Pay attention, learn what they're doing, counter it. Once you counter it, it's a wrap. That's where Jax starts shining. He starts building momentum. That's not where you want to be in a position where he has a huge momentum. He has you in the corner now. He can just do all these mix-ups and his damage and building up heat as well. Because when he builds up heat, it's even more scary. Because now you're giving him more layers with his throws and more damage as well. That too. But I think the issue with that right now in this case, between the rock wall is that another thing is like the rock wall. Even though you could also punish through the rock wall as well, but Jax's stand 1 is like very slow. It's 8 frames. It's like Cetrion spoke. So it's actually pretty hard. Because like certain characters can't actually punish through rock wall. Like if they have a 6 to 7 frame normal, they can actually challenge it. But in our case with Jax, unfortunately, he cannot do it. It's impossible. Why? Because they gave him an 8 frame stand 1. So you had to be very. You just had to deal with the mind games. Unfortunately, that one could work also. But those things in general is like that's the few things I want to say also. So learn to like in this matchup be very patient against her. Do not willy-nilly wave dash because she could check you with her Hellraiser. She could check you with her Earthquake. Just walk forward and block. Walk forward and block. If you see her go for an Earthquake, she doesn't cancel it. Jump over the second one and just keep walking forward. Your whole game plan is just to push her to the corner and keep pushing her until where she's stuck in the corner and she has no option. Also, one more thing. If she wastes her teleport and does the far version teleport and she gets away and you're like, oh damn, I have to now redo everything and like now I have to go walk her down again. That's fine because now she just wasted her defensive bar. She can't cancel it to her, even though it builds up quickly in this game, defensive meter and offensive meter. She just lost her chance of canceling to a lot of her moves to be safe, like her Earthquake. So now, and she can't even break away now. She has to build up 2 bars to break away if you finally get in against her. So she just wasted her getaway, her breakaway. Now she has to deal with pressure if you figure out a way to get in. And, let's see, I'm trying to think, because there's a lot of things I would like to say about this character as well. One more thing is, let's go back to the tornado real quick. Hit advantage. So, a lot of people don't realize this, but tornado on hit, she's not that plus on hit, I believe. I could be bugging, but if I remember correctly, her tornado is only... Yeah, you see, it's only +2 on hit. So, usually in this case, don't be afraid, depending on your character, don't be afraid to press a button against her. Because if she just does... I'm gonna have Jax real quick to not block. Don't be afraid, because look, she's +2. The only thing she's going to do is probably check you with back 3, which is only going to leave her 8 frames. That's literally all she could do. She could do back 3. Forward 2 is only give her like 12. And it's like... the only way she could guarantee to get more pressure if she amplifies it. Now she's +10. If she does this, she's plus 10. Like, yeah, she's more plus, but if she does a regular one, always challenge her after that. Plus 2 doesn't mean anything in this game. If you're plus 2 on hit, you get nothing out of it. Literally nothing. You have to be more plus or on frame advantage. So it's not that scary. Sometimes they're probably going to check you with back 3, which is a very good one, because like I said, back 3 is like is going to become 8 frames of startup. So your fastest way to bash after that is down 1. Like you're down 1, Jax is down 1 is 7 frames. So it's going to be like very tight. So if you miss time, you're down 1, they're going to hit you with back 3, and you're going to get back into getting hit with tornado. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing. This matchup is very tough, but it's still not a total bad matchup. Your whole goal here is just to literally walk her down. Just walk her down. Don't jump. Like, you could jump, but be careful, because if you're too predictable, you're jumping, she will hit you with a air boulder, and you're going to get hit with a crushing blow. It's going to do a lot of damage, and you're back to being full screen, and now you're back to dealing with a maze of projectiles, and you don't want to be in that position. You want to get in her face as soon as possible, and make sure, like, just to walk and block, especially like if you're at a range, knowing that she's going to be throwing out rock wall, far rock wall especially, because far rock wall is pretty cheap in my opinion. So I think oh yeah, and this shit. You can check her if she tries to meet a burn the rock walls while with down 1. So you could do that and wave dash in and go for a throw, but you gotta micro dash. So like quickly wave dash in and jail if you want to, or go for a throw. So yeah. So that is actually it, to be honest. Oh yeah, one more thing. This is just a general thing I should say too as well before I go. We're gonna have her do a close teleport. The close teleport, I think a lot of people like just let her get away with murder. It's very hard to punish her, so I can't disagree with you at all. When she does her close teleport, she's negative 30. She's 37. So like you see right there, she can instantly like. Oh, I mistimed it. Bam. Oop. You close teleport to me. Oh well, now you just got punished. The way to do it is like you pay attention to when she teleports, you see when the water comes onto the other side. That is your moment to strike. That is your moment to strike. So now you have her, you could literally, like, when you see the water coming on the other side, react immediately. Don't like wait till the last minute, because that teleport recovers too damn quickly, in my opinion. So your only way to punish is when you see her evaporate and she starts vaporating next to you on the other side, and then immediately you input a move. So that is it for the Cetrion guide. I just wanted to just do this real quick, because I feel like there's certain people, especially that plays Jax, that don't know how to deal with this character. She is very strong. She's top 5. She's one of the best characters in the game. If you're paying attention to the scene and you saw the Wii play, you see how strong she was, especially against like with Tekken Master versus Sonic Fox, and how strong of a character she is. So this is just a small video of how to deal with her. I think I'm gonna do more of these. I will create another video tomorrow when I have the free time for another character. I feel like that's going to be a very tough matchup for Jax that you have to deal with. So this is just a quick video. I hope you guys enjoyed. So, like, if you enjoyed it, leave a follow, like, and subscribe.